Hi everyone, I'm back. I haven't done a reading on the Trump kids in a really long time. I did a lot in the beginning and then I stopped, and then when I came back to it, it just seemed like not something that I wanted to spend my time doing. Um, I just didn't want to be in their energy again. But I think it's important to see what's going on with them now. I mean, maybe Trump has 50 more days in office, and so there's a lot of stuff that has to go on. They're talking about like pre-pardons and all this other stuff for his kids. Why do we? I guess he could say that he's doing these pre-pardons to protect his children from the people who are trying to get him. But really, he's protecting his children because they were criminals. But let's see how his kids are doing. We're going to start with Don Jr., who looks I saw a picture of him, and when he was doing, like, when he's like "Arr," like he was doing all this coke or something. I don't know if that's what he was doing, but he was acting. He was on some sort of, like, it could have just been high anxiety. And when I looked into his eyes, the thing I saw was fear. I mean, he was terrified. He was terrified. And I mean, imagine having Donald Trump as a father. Ugh, I want to say poor kid, but it's I guess it was like having the senior Trump as a father. Okay, so we have Don Jr., we have the moon. So he is losing his shit. Oh, sorry, I shouldn't have said the S word. He is emotionally everywhere. He's up, he's down, he's depressed, he's elated. Like, it could almost be like a manic, a mania that he has. And then into deep depression. So he is all over the place. Let's see what's challenging that. The King of Arrows. The King of Arrows. So this is oh, legal stuff. The King of Arrows is the King of swords. So what's making him lose his be emotionally upset? See, I thought it was initially because his father lost, but it has more to do with the fact that now that his father's not in power, he can be held account. He can be held account. No wonder he's afraid. What's at the root? The page of vessels. This is the otter. This would be the page of cups. Sometimes uh, the page of cups it can also be the princess of cups. It's the feminine, earthly aspect. It's water and earth, right? The cups, and then the princesses are earth. Could be his sister. Could be his sister. She's a Scorpio. A lot of times people see her as queen, but she really is a princess. She's not quite the queen. Let's see what's in the past. The Green Woman. This is the Empress card. I feel like this is his mother. This must be Ivana. I feel something something connected to her from the past. Hmm. That's interesting. Let's see what's in the sky. The Queen of Vessels. Now here's the Queen. Here's the Queen of Cups. So this is his. This could be his sister also. So his sister and his mother are all over his cards. I don't know what his girlfriend Ginfoil, whatever her name is. I don't know what sign she is, but she doesn't strike me as a particularly strong, um, centered woman. She doesn't strike me as that. I should look at her chart. There's a real, like, facade around her. There's a real, like, like, who is she really on the inside? She's gonna find out. She's hanging out with Trump. All right. So what's ahead? And we have the Eight of Bows, which is the hearth fire, and I feel like this has to do with getting together with people and making a plan for the future. So that's what he's busy doing. He's trying to get like maybe other business people, other entrepreneurial people. He's trying to um, stoke some sort of fire with that. So that might be political ambition, and maybe not his political ambition per se, but maybe just that he's stoking that. They're talking about Trump doing 2024. Please, you know, why are you putting that up there? I think that he's putting that, like they're putting that word out just to make us crazy, right? So don't get crazy about that stuff because they're just manipulating us. They're manipulating us. I heard Preet Bharara talk about it today and it pissed me off. All right. So this is how it's seen from the outside, the Wheel of Fortune. I think people are seeing that destiny will, fate will happen. The mighty will fall, and the meek shall rise. That's the nature of the Wheel of Fortune. He ain't meek. In domestic situation, we have the Hanged Man. This is called in this deck. It's called the Mirror, and so there's this sense of having to look at himself, having to look at himself in the mirror, having to. This is a spiritual crisis. This is a spiritual crisis. He is not in a good emotional place. He is not in a good emotional place. Hopes and fears. The Ten of Arrows. In this deck, it's called Instruction. In other decks, it's the Ten of Swords. Um, he's hoping that he'll have another opportunity. He's hoping that he'll have another opportunity in life. That this isn't the end. Um, that it's not like orange jumpsuit and then coming back from that and mounting to not much. All right, outcome. The Knight of Stones, the horse. This is, of course, this is the Knight of Pentacles. So this can be seeds that have been planted in the past. Um, but there's a wildness to this card. There's a freedom. He might actually, you know what? This is really weird. Wouldn't it be weird if he, and this just sort of popped into my head, so I'm going to say it because when they pop, I like to just say it because, who knows? Maybe I'll be right. But I almost felt like he's going to turn his back on all, like, even if he does the jumpsuit thing, which is possible, the orange jumpsuit thing, when he gets out, he's going to go like to Africa or he's going to go someplace where there's wildness. And I think he might go and find his peace through a connection to nature. I mean, he may go back to Africa. Maybe he helps with, they shot all those animals, the big game hunting. Maybe he like turns around and decides to do something, um, to help the species. Especially with climate change and the population because of climate change moving around. There where the elephants live isn't, as far as I know, isn't where the water is. So if the water rises, they go into the elephants' territory. It's bad for the elephants. So, there's just, I don't know. It just was like a thing that popped into my head. Why not say it? And then the Awakening 20. This is the Judgment card. But for him, it is an opportunity to go into the darkness, to go into his pain, to go into his, and he has deep, deep, deep pain, that man, deep pain. And so he's being invited in, and he can transform. He can. And I hope he does. I hope he does. I hope he goes through what he has to go through, is held responsible for what he's responsible for, and then come out the other side a better man. Come out the other side a better man. In a way, that's what Cohen did. But Cohen was only a fixer. It wasn't his son. Yikes. And underneath it all, we get the ancestor. This is the Hierophant. But I feel like he could have the opportunity to heal a lot of the pain in the family through that the grandfather and the father sort of brought into the family. That whole like the evilness. He might actually be the one who can in the family who can get to the other side of that and do some of the ancestral healing. So I think he's stronger than he seems. I think when he's around his father, he's probably weak. But when I think on his own and to his own devices without his father's pressure and influence, he might actually be able to do some real good soul growth. All right, so that was Don Jr. Now let's do Ivanka. Ivanka, Miss Ivanka. Yeah, I'm just gonna do his kids. I'm not gonna do Jared. I don't really care about Jared, although I don't know. I'm sure he thinks he's doing a great job. I'm sure his uncle Bebe is telling him that. Godfather Bebe. Okay, Ivanka. We have the Page of Stones. The Page of Stones. So this is what she's actually doing right now is looking for new business opportunities. New business opportunities. Um, Diversifying, as it were. See what's crossing that? The Fool. Um, wow. The Fool is crossing that. Her father, maybe? Her father, because he is a Uranus. The Fool is associated with Uranus, and um, Trump is definitely a Uranian energy. So it's possible that her father blocks her from starting new endeavors. Um, or it could be a sudden, like the fool goes off the cliff, right? So maybe it's like a sudden like plunge that's going to challenge her. Let's see what's at the root. The Six of Arrows transition. This is about moving away from the chaos. Um, but this is like, it's like, I don't know if you can see it. Let's see, where is it? It's really a beautiful card. I want you to appreciate it if I can. Oops, sorry about that. I hope I'm not making you sick. I don't know why this camera doesn't focus. It's very annoying. There must be a way to focus it. Anyway, it's a hooded figure in a swan boat. It sort of reminds me of was it Charon at the River Styx? Like a transition from one state to another, almost like a death, right? There's like a death here. Interesting. Let's see what's at the in the past. We have the Lovers card. It's called the Forest Lovers. I think that's her and Jared. They sort of came in as the power couple here. Let's see what's in the sky. The Nine of Vessels, generosity. Generosity. This can also be Donald Trump, but in this deck, it doesn't strike me as Donald Trump. It really strikes me as I think there's somebody who's going to be in her corner. I think there's going to be somebody who's very generous to her. Um, and it could be the Kushners because the Kushners do have a lot of money. Um, so she might have protections that the boys don't have. And in the future, she's looking for a new horizons, new horizons. The Star card. How it's seen from the outside. Challenge, the Two of Stones. Again, this is trying to build money and resources, and she's padding She's panning. Let's see her domestic situation. Ooh, mourning. Again, it almost looks like somebody's going to pass in her life. It could be her. It could be her father, I guess. It could be somebody in Jared's family. Could be Jared. I don't know. I mean, Jesus. But there's definitely a loss for her, emotional loss. Emotional loss that's not in her control. But she's supported by spirit, so she's supported through it. Um, this is the hopes and fears. We have the Nine of Stones tradition. Um, I think that that's a hope that she gets to keep her some of her the family riches, as it were. That they don't all go to whatever legal fund they're gonna need because of all their shenanigans. She's in quite a bit of trouble. The outcome, the Four of Bows, celebration, celebration. So wow, that's interesting. She gets a celebration card. Let's see what else is going on. Three of Bows, fulfillment. You know, it's interesting. When I first started doing Ivanka's cards, they were always terrible. Always terrible. Like she was worried, she was concerned. They never were good. And her brother's cards, Don Jr.'s, was like everything is awesome. Right? Now at the end, it's the opposite. For her, everything is awesome. And for Don, it's like interesting, huh? Um, the Five of Arrows, frustration, missing the target. Huh. The Knight of Arrows, the hawk. So this is the Knight of Swords. And healing, the Seven of Stones. Um, wow. Yeah, these are kind of strange. They're kind of strange cards. She knows that she's losing something. Um, she feels the loss, but she is um, held up. She's held up, and she is supported through this. Interesting. All right. Well, okay. All right. Let's see. Eric. Eric. Let's see how Eric is doing. I know. I think his wife was something with the re-election. Maybe she was head of the re-election or something. I don't know. All right. Eric. The almost forgotten Trump. I don't think what is it, Letitia James? Letitia James is gonna forget that he's around. God. Well, it doesn't feel as icky as it usually does. That's a good sign. Maybe because I know that it's done. It's like you're done with all the chores in the garden and you have dirt all over you. Now you get to take a shower. And so even though you're still dirty, the idea of taking a shower with a nice hot soapy shower makes you feel good. So we're all taking a shower and we can wash those kids right out of our hair. Okay. We have the hermit. So this is him laying low, laying low. Um, the hermit is it as I well what's coming to mind is that he's seeking advice from somebody wiser, somebody who has a lot of experience in whatever it is that he's in trouble with, right? Let's see what's crossing that. The Ace of Bows, the Ace of Wands. That's a new start, but because it's crossed. It's like you can't start. You can't start. Oh, that's weird. Okay, let's see what's at the root. Oh, the tower, the blasted oak, as it were, in this deck. Um, wow. So I think he really thought his father was going to win. And he is devastated. He doesn't know where to look from stem to stern. He does not. He is uh, endurance in the past. I think he feels like he's endured a lot from his family or through his family. The Five of Stones is really like not a happy card. It's like this poor little kid is lonely, and she's got the fire, but there's a storm in the background, and she's in this cave and she's all alone. She has no shoes. She's wearing rags. This is not this is a past of lack, and we know it wasn't lack of financial means because the Trumps, even if they didn't have money, they lived like they had money. So it wasn't a lack of funds in that respect. But I don't think he was understood. I don't think he was ever really understood in his family. Let's see what's in the sky. Ancestors, the family. This was the last card I picked on Don Jr. So there's a there's a heaviness in his. I think of all the children. I don't know. It's like I mean, he's got the Hermit, the Tower, the Hierophant. These are all major arcana cards. These are heavy cards. The Three of Arrows, called jealousy. This is heartbreak and betrayal. So somebody's going to betray him. Somebody's going to betray him. It may be that he's holding up the family. It's like he's holding up the family flag. He's the one responsible for the Trump organization now, in a different way than Don Jr. was, right? He wasn't, it was something different for him. Um, and I think Ivanka always has Jared. So Ivanka has an out, but the boys don't have an out. And I feel like something has rocked his world, and it's it's not looking good for him. Okay, so I was seeing from the outside, we have the Page of Arrows. This is the Wren. Um, this is like little messages, or it could also be, it is the Page of Swords. Sometimes that card is associated with, a spy, like he trusted the wrong person. Somebody said something. I feel like there's, things are being said. Things are being said. Um, Domestic situation, the Shaman, power. These are very, very powerful cards that he's getting. Hopes and fears. Injustice, the Two of Arrows. Two of Arrows. Um, Legal stuff. He's afraid of legal stuff. Outcome. Well, the Three of Vessels. Joy. That's a good outcome for him. And he got the same card his brother did. And was it the same place? I don't think so. No, I think it was the same place as the last card I picked. He is also going to go through Dark Tunnel. Huh. Let's see what's under it. Ooh. Oops. The Six of Stones. Exploitation. This is not a good card. I think he's going to be held responsible for. I think he's going to be held responsible for a lot of the financial stuff. And I think he might be going to prison. But although what's his name, Trump wants to do the pardon, but I don't think it's going to matter because I think what he'll go to prison for is state offenses, right? The Letitia James stuff. So Well, that was very, very interesting. I didn't expect to go there with that. I didn't expect to see any of that. But that's what I saw. So, like and subscribe. This is for entertainment purposes only. It is my intuition on these things, and I could be wrong, or I could be right. I may be wrong, but I may be right. Right? The old song. All right, guys, take care. Lots of love. Namaste.